Hi and Assalamualaikum. I'm one of Izzah, Ilyana binti Mohamed Kahar, and my group partner is Siti Aishah binti Yusoff. We are going to present about Gyeongju, South Korea. Gyeongju, South Korea. Gyeongju is the oldest city in Korea, which is dating back to 700 AD, as it used to be the ancient capital of the Silla Kingdom. This ruled about two-thirds of the Korean peninsula at its height between the 7th and 9th century, which close to 1,000 years. The heritage areas as a whole serve as testimony to the 1,000-year history by providing evidence of the entirety of the culture, and it includes the city layout, social structure and modes of living of the Silla dynasty. Sokguram Grotto, Bulguksa Temple, Gyeongju History Areas, and Yandong Folk Village are designated as World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. We must know where is Gyeongju. Gyeongju is 370 km southeast of Seoul and 55 km east of Daegu. The city borders is Cheongdo and Yeongcheon to the west, Ulsan to the south, and Pohang to the north, while to the east lies the coast of the East Sea. Numerous low mountains was outliers of the Tibet Range, which these are scattered around the city. The reason why we choose Gyeongju, South Korea, it is because Gyeongju is a city which is with their own history. Gyeongju is a place of historic value and often called a museum without walls. It is also known as quiet countryside, that a worldwide popular vacation destination that will find untouched rural areas give you insight into traditional Korean lifestyle. It is also to promote the ecotourism and the sustainable tourism, the exceptional of significance in the development of Buddhist and secular architecture in Korea. Koreans are very proud of their unique cuisine like kimchi, and this is another result of the country's natural isolation and climate leading to the particular food preparation methods. This site is filled with tiny temples, rock-carved statues, and pagodas. The policy and regulation. The entire area of the property, including the numerous individual sites that has been designated as state-designated cultural heritage under the Cultural Heritage Protection Act. In order to protect the abundance of unearthed heritage, it is mandatory in Gyeongju City to conduct a cultural heritage impact assessment before any construction takes place. The preservation of the surrounding environment of the history areas, use of the Gyeongju history areas for the education of citizens, and field study for students. A policy of seeking systematic investment and seed management proposals that are eco-friendly and consistent with world-class tourism policies. Parking facilities are to be extended and marked paved layout so as to prevent uncontrolled access to the land.
My name is Siti Aishah binti Yusoff. I will proceed with the design standards. These are the design standards for a few historical sites that you can visit in Gyeongju. The first one is attract people with the historical design. The second one is Korean style stone structure. The third one is symbolize the historical and astronomical figures. And the last one is follows the topography of the mountains and valleys. These are the examples for the historical sites that suits the design standard as I mentioned just now. The first one is Bulguksa. Bulguksa is a temple located on the slopes of Mountain Toham. This temple was burned to the ground during the Imjin Wars until the major restoration between 1969 and 1973 was conducted by the order of the President Park Chung-hee, bring Bulguksa to its current form. The stunning stone structure are preserved from the original Silla construction will be able to attract more tourists. The second example is Sokgatap. Sokgatap also refers as the shadowless pagoda. This pagoda also mentioned in a famous reality program in Korea which is Running Man. Regarding the design standards, which is Korean-style stone structure, it is also known as the Bulguksa Samchang Soktap. That means three-storied stone pagoda of Bulguksa. The next building is Chomsongdae. This building is built out of 365 pieces of cut granite, symbolizing the number of days in a year. Meanwhile, the central window separates the bodies into 12 layers of stones, both above and below, symbolizing the 12 months in a year. And the last one is Yandong Falk Village. It is designated as important folklore materials number 189 by the South Korea government. It is also an example of Korean aristocracy lifestyle and Neo-Confucian traditions. Now let's go through the potential of Gyeongju in economy, social and environment. The potential of Gyeongju in economy are more residents employed in manufacturing. The city plays a leading role in a domestic production of beef and mushrooms, and there are 57 active mines and quarries. The economy of Gyeongju is more diverse than the city's image as a tourist haven would suggest. Although tourism is an important component of the city, however, the number involved in tourism has remained constant over recent years. Next, the potential of Gyeongju in social. There is a mix of public and private institutions. It also produced notable individuals, included most of the kingdom's leading figures. The city is also known for some local specialties, which is the Gyeongju bread, and it also preserves the culture and heritage for the tourists to come and visit. The last one is potential of Gyeongju in environment. It promotes heritage tourism. It has many artifacts from the Silla Kingdom, and it can attract people with the historical site. Next, let's move to the limitations of Gyeongju. The first one is touring around the city by public transport is not so convenient. It is hard to find halal foods, but it is possible. It's also more focused on heritage and cultural tourism, and some of them unable to communicate in English fluently. For comments and critiques, Gyeongju is a very interesting place to visit, especially for the history and culture lover. All the architectures and buildings are preserved for the oncoming generations. This city also suitable for the couples because it is also become a romantic place during night time. Regarding the certain residents who are unable to communicate in English, you are supposed to come along with a tour guide as a middleman to experience a wonderful tour. For example, you can use a translator or the tour guide during the trading activities, looking for food and beverage, transportations and accommodations.
Gyeongju must consider to improve their course on handling the natural residents because it's primarily historical and archaeological sites that shed light on the city's rich heritage. Gyeongju also is the right place to visit if we are fond of natural scenery. Lastly, we must keep support the sustainable tourism product which play an important role to shape the future of tourism industry.